In September 2025, a massive youth protest in Nepal ended with 76 people dead, over 2,500 injured, and 85 billion rupees in physical damages. To understand exactly how a student-led demonstration spiraled into a catastrophic national crisis, we are deconstructing the official 909-page government inquiry into the events. This line chart tracks the turnover of Nepali leadership over the last 3.5 decades. The country has seen 30 different governments in 35 years, creating a highly volatile political environment alongside a flatlining economic growth rate. With the domestic economy stalling, severe unemployment has forced massive numbers of young people to migrate out of the country for foreign labor. For the millions of Generation Z citizens remaining in the country, the digital space became their only accessible avenue for political leverage. The frustration brewing online centered around chronic corruption and a political system monopolized by a few elite families. Protesters frequently criticize this as a Nepo baby culture, a system where political power is inherited rather than earned. In response to this rising online dissent, the government implemented a sweeping nationwide social media ban on September 5th. For this generation, these platforms function as critical infrastructure for financial transactions, employment, and daily communication. Attempting a blunt blackout against a digital native population fails to recognize how deeply integrated these tools are into the modern economy. The blanket ban failed to suppress the public's frustration. Instead, it pushed those digital grievances out of virtual chat rooms and directly onto the physical streets. Young organizers quickly bypassed the state's firewall using alternative platforms. They centralized their efforts on Discord, a voice and text chat app originally built for gamers, specifically coordinating through a server called UAHub. This vector graphic shows how decentralized communication routed around the state's central firewall. Users mapped targets with AI tools, planned peaceful assemblies, and discussed symbolic actions entirely in unmonitored channels. But outside influence quickly crept in. As the highlight shifts to these red nodes, we see data from a Cyabra cybersecurity report indicating that 34% of the profiles amplifying the anger on platforms like X were fake, pointing to heavy bot interference. On September 8th, the digital mobilization materialized in the real world. A massive student-led protest gathered peacefully at the Maitigar intersection in Kathmandu. Despite utilizing highly advanced encrypted organizational methods, the youth's initial intent remained entirely focused on democratic participation and holding leaders accountable. The situation deteriorated violently when the crowd reached the Parliament building. Police deployed water cannons and, eventually, live ammunition against the demonstrators. By the end of that first day, 17 people had been killed in the clashes. On day 2, the nature of the event shifted. The students' anti-corruption stance was co-opted by older infiltrators, political extremists, and criminal groups eager to exploit the growing chaos. Violence spread rapidly across the nation. Rioters targeted public infrastructure, police stations, and major corporate businesses, like the Bhat administration, created a physical power vacuum, giving bad actors the exact opening they needed to turn a protest into a nationwide riot. Over just 2 days, the death toll reached 76. Another 2,522 people were injured, alongside billions of rupees in severe economic destruction. The official inquiry highlights a total collapse in state intelligence gathering. Security agencies entirely failed to foresee the scale of a mobilization organized on platforms they were not actively monitoring. On the ground, there was a catastrophic lack of coordination. As we see riot police forcibly detaining a protester, it's clear the Nepal police, the armed police force, and the army operated without unified command or clear rules of engagement. At the top level, executive leaders succumbed to paralysis, failing to promptly declare a state of emergency, even as violence engulfed districts far beyond the capital. A highly compartmentalized analog security apparatus simply cannot counter a decentralized, digitally coordinated crisis in real time. The inquiry's core recommendations outline an urgent need for modern civic education, vastly enhanced digital intelligence capabilities, and a layered security posture. The broader global lesson here is clear. Governments can no longer rely on internet blackouts and lethal force to solve political problems rooted in a digital native population. As Generation Z ages into the primary political and economic demographic worldwide, state institutions have to adapt to demands for transparency, or they will face existential threats to their authority. These events forced the dissolution of the House of Representatives and triggered the complete collapse of the sitting government. It demonstrated that decentralized digital mobilization can physically paralyze a state's security apparatus and force a total political reset. Are the institutions in your own country prepared for the accelerating political power of Gen Z? Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our world.